Okay. My name is Eric Carter, and I've recently written the first book in a series. The series is about a young man named Chance Dawson. The first book is called Innate. Um, Chance is an epileptic character, and that epilepsy, I'm asked, why did I write about an epileptic character? Well, we're supposed to write our truth, and I'm an epileptic. I've had epilepsy for most of my life, and have always wondered since I was a little kid if I see the world differently than other people, if these sort of crazy things that go inside in my brain, if they make me perceive things differently. Because you hear about really interesting people and unique people that have also suffered from seizures. And so I wondered that as a little kid. And so I've always been interested in sort of exploring that a little bit with a character. And then what sort of pushed me over the edge was I learned about a venture capitalist of all things. Her name is Arlen Hamilton, and she started a venture capital firm called Backstage Capital. And venture capital firms, they have to create a thesis for why they exist. What do we do? And her thesis is we invest in companies that are run and owned by minorities or women and other people that don't traditionally have access to capital. And her theory is because those people have such difficulty getting access to capital, that the sheer grit that they have to get that capital and to start those companies and to sort of overcome the odds that they do just because of who they are is enough to warrant investment. And so I kind of thought, well, isn't that same thing true? That kind of goes hand in hand with my thought about, do I see the world differently? And so mightn't it be true that just because someone has epilepsy or a disability, that might actually be some sort of superpower? And so, yes, in this story, Chance's disability is a fictional superpower. Um, and that's not to say that, you know what, everybody's epilepsy is actually a superpower. But I think what you'll find if you read the book is that there are some very real characteristics that both Chance has and he develops because of his epilepsy that are superpowers in the real world. And so a good example is empathy, right? Because both epileptics and their caretakers both become very skilled in empathy. Why? Because they have to rely on other people and they have to ask for help. And the same is true of caretakers. They have to give help. They have to humble themselves from what they want to do and take care of others. And when you live a life that way, you learn to connect with people wherever they are, whatever their disability is, whatever they're struggling with. And I think that's a unique characteristic that someone living with epilepsy develops. And you see Chance as a character develop that as he's navigating his circumstance. And then another one is grit, because that is true. That sort of assumption that just living a normal life with a challenge like epilepsy develops some grit to overcome obstacles just to do very normal things. And so then when you do get to that point in your life when it's maybe your seizures are under control and you can go to school or you can apply for that job, there's going to be some tenacity there that honestly will give you a leg up. And you see some of that too from Chance. Okay, I'm going to read a little excerpt. This is just, I don't want to give anything away, so this is just chapter 1, but I think you might see those with epilepsy might already in this first chapter see a little bit of themselves in the way Chance opens the story. Normal is 3 hours away. It's the last day of school and I daydream of summer break, my treehouse, Steamy streets and woods, sleeping in. It will all replace these stale, frigid classrooms. No more dodging classmates. Instead, I'll relax with my family who love me. And I'll get better. I just need some rest and peace, and I'll get better. Miss Porter says something, but I'm zoned out. I don't hear her. Nobody hears her. We don't need to. We haven't received meaningful work in 3 days. Why do we even come to school the final week? An announcement interrupts my daydream. Attention, upper school students. All juniors and seniors immediately report to the gym. Important instructions will be given in 10 minutes. Is Paul getting out early? I worry. My older brother is my ride home. I don't need any stress now. I'm so close to summer, so close to normal, so close to better. Miss Porter's phone vibrates on her desk. She glances at a text message. She pops out of her seat and starts towards the classroom door. I'll be right back, students. You may talk quietly. Just stay in your seats, please. The door closes. The class erupts. Stay in our seats? Seriously? It's the last day of school, and the teacher leaves a class of 6th graders alone. Almost everybody leaves their seats, or at least turns in them to find friends. A small group gathers in the back of the room to plan one last prank. Others throw spitballs at the ceiling. Most are content to chat with friends. Me, I keep to myself, as usual. I need to avoid attention for a few more hours. Then everything will be fine. Everything is fine. Just get to the end of the day, my mind assures my body. I take some deep breaths and hope nobody notices my odd attention to breathing. Stay calm. No episodes. Can anyone tell that I'm getting nervous? I rub my thumbs against my palms. Another trick Dr. Watt taught me for staying calm. I feel eyes turning to me. Is the whole class looking at me? Miss Porter returns. Thank goodness. She'll take the attention away from me. I expect a perturbed reprimand for the chaos that exploded after she left, but her face is empty. The switch from orderly classroom to end-of-year madhouse doesn't faze her. Something else holds her full attention. Class, she whimpers. She speaks so quietly. She's scared. I think I'm the only one who heard her. What is wrong? She stands for a few more seconds and continues to look straight forward. What is she looking at? She seems to stare directly through the back of the wall as if she can see something in the next classroom. I forget about my controlled breathing. My thumbs stop moving. My fist clench. Oh no. I feel my nerves heating up. What is going on? Class, she says a little louder. Most students ignore her and remain lost in their personal conversations. A blaring intercom saves Miss Porter from 2 failed attempts to claim the class's attention. The emergency tone screams through the classroom. Everyone cups their hands over their ears. The class snaps to attention. We turn to Miss Porter and wait for an explanation. Class, she starts again, there's been an emergency, and we're going to leave school early today. Please walk to the cafeteria. Principal Stevens will instruct you how to get home. As she finishes speaking, a strange noise floods the hallway outside our classroom. We all turn our eyes to the door, equally confused by unfamiliar sound. I hear students swarming and moving towards the cafeteria, but there's something else. It sounds like marching. It is marching. Soldiers are in the building. The contrast of middle school voices against stomping military boots makes my stomach churn. What is going on? I join my classmates in an uneasy dash for the door. We throw it open. The hallway scene stops us all in our tracks. Armed soldiers file through the hall, taking no notice of growing confusion and fear among the scrambling students. They are on a mission, and nothing will interfere. But what type of military mission happens at a school? As more students pour into the hallway, the path to the cafeteria turns into a stampede. I freeze. Trapped in the confusion, I push my back against a wall and focus on breathing. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. You must stay calm. My thumbs rub my palms raw. I can't afford an episode right now. I feel the pill in my pocket. Dr. Watt told me that if I feel an episode coming on, I can take the pill. It will stop the episode, but it will knock me out. I'll be asleep in minutes. Falling asleep in the middle of an emergency evacuation is not the best way to avoid attention. Maybe I can slip back into the classroom and sleep while this blows over. I consider taking the pill, but wait! Paul. I need to find Paul, and we need to leave. We need to leave together. An avalanche of students and military entangles everything in the hallway and carries it towards the cafeteria. Paul is in the gym, the opposite direction. I squeeze against the wall and fight against the traffic. I feel like one of those fish that swims upriver to lay eggs. It's nearly impossible to move against the hall's current, but Paul, I have to get to Paul, no matter the difficulty. Somehow, I make it to the end of the hallway. What will I see outside? I peek my head out the door. Students and teachers clamber all over the school grounds. If anyone had made it to the cafeteria, they didn't stay long. Some students run to the edge of the campus. Others head to the parking lot where the upper school students park their cars. Even teachers are taking off. I scan the campus in between the parking lot and the gym. Principal Stevens catches my eye. He pleads with an upper school teacher to stay. The teacher pulls away from him and runs towards her car. Before she closes her car door, she turns and screams at Principal Stevens, "The parents need to know first." Principal Stevens drops his eyes and slumps his shoulders. I think he agrees with her, but he acts helpless to do anything about it. He turns and walks lifelessly back towards campus. My eyes rush ahead of him to the gym and stop at the gym doors. A dozen or so upper school students are coming through the gym's main doors in an orderly line. They stay silent, surrounded by soldiers. They're escorted to a bus. It isn't a school bus. It's an unmarked with blacked out windows. I look back to the line of students. I scan for Paul. My heart beats faster. I don't know anything about this line or this bus, but I don't want Paul in either one. My nerves prevent my eyes from focusing. I shake my head and start over the beginning of the line. One of Paul's basketball teammates is first. Jake Cross, a state champion wrestler, stands behind him. Jane Simmons, our school track star, is behind Jake. A pattern emerges, a pattern that surely includes my brother. I lose control of my breathing again. My eyes rush through the line again and again and again. There he is. Paul holds himself like the rest of them, poised, silent, and ready. But ready for what? What don't my parents know about Paul and the others? The student-athletes move in procession towards the ominous blackened bus. Compared to the rampage unfolding across the rest of campus, the small plot between the gym and the unmarked bus exudes an eerie sense of order. The soldiers and the students are on the same page. They move with a shared sense of purpose. That small group of students has joined the soldiers' mission. I don't understand that mission, but I can't let Paul join. I must get to him. I must get him out of here. I need my big brother. I drop my book bag. I drop my breathing exercises. I drop my thoughts, and I run. I run towards Paul. So I've often been asked, why is it important to have a disabled hero? Why is representation important? I do think representation is important, and I think we actually live in a time when we're starting to understand that more, and that's great. And I think it's important for two reasons to have an epileptic hero. One is just so other people, especially kids, is targeted at middle grade readers and young adult, so they can see someone that's like them in that hero position, because that's not typically the way they see themselves by default. And so it's important, it's healthy, and it's good for them to see somebody like them be the hero in a story. And then it's true for everybody else as well, because not everybody is used to seeing somebody with epilepsy or a neurological disorder. And other people have all kinds of reactions to that. It could be they're scared. It could be they're turned off. It could be they just don't know how to act. And so I think it's also important for those people that aren't as familiar with epilepsy, to see that person in that hero role. I do my best to live Purple Day every day in a couple of ways. First is through writing and through this new character, and I hope you'll read it. I hope it's encouraging to you. I hope it's informative and challenging to those that are unfamiliar with epilepsy. The other way is I'm fortunate enough to have my seizures controlled to an extent that I can have a full-time job. And so I'm an attorney, I'm an in-house attorney. And part of my duty and part of my goal in fulfilling that role is to help build an inclusive environment where people with disabilities of all kinds are valued as equals and protected. And so that's what I'm hoping to do, to get this message out, and I hope to continue. Chance Dawson, or Innate, a Chance Dawson story, is available pretty much everywhere now. Amazon's the easiest place to get it, but it's at Apple Books, Google Books. If you go to your local bookstore or Barnes & Noble, you might not find it on the shelf, but they can order it. So I hope you enjoyed this bit and go out and read the book.